I have Garrett, I have Harlan, and I have Everett, but I don't know which is which. I'm like, which one? Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching Wolfpack, Season 1, Episode 5.
6.
Episode 6.
After party.
After the kickback.
Yeah, post-kickback.
I like that they made fun of it in world. That
Yeah.
Everett's dad was sort of like, what are you calling it, a kickstand?
I mean, Everett's dad was in rare form in that scene.
Yeah, it's making very deliberate choices that give me faith that we're building to something.
Sure.
And I am fully on board. Like, I'm fully invested, fully enjoying the ride. I still find some of the choices they're making perplexing.
Yeah.
But we picked up right where we left off with the kids in the solarium debating whether or not it was a possum or a bear and whether or not that is of any concern.
Yeah, and meanwhile...
Because Cyrus Nix was like, oh, are you going to protect me from the rabid bear? And I was like, very valid. Very valid thing to be afraid of.
I mean...
I don't think people understand how scary bears are because they don't know the Russian camping story.
Okay. I hate the Russian camping story. It is the most horrific thing I've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
I will not be recounting it here. And also, I am surrounded by people, my in-laws specifically, who come from New Hampshire and just don't care about the bears at all. And they're like, Connie, my mother-in-law, is constantly like, there was a bear in the backyard. And I'm like, are you moving?
Couldn't see you?
Like, are you burning down the house and running away? Why are you so calm about this?
I would take my chances with the werewolf.
Yeah!
over the bear.
Yes! I cannot. And so, I have a very healthy fear of bears. And if I ever saw one in person,
I would take two sharks over one bear. Because you punch them in the nose.
And then they'll go away. But I sincerely think I would just expire if a bear was within grabbing distance of me.
Fucking Phoebe goes for a dip. We'll get to that. We don't know how.
Her ignorance and belief it was a possum was her downfall.
So, well, we're there, so let's get to it. I glommed onto Phoebe.
Yeah.
I found her funny. Yeah. If we know one thing, it's that I think she's funny.
She was funny.
I saw potential for a character. And then with each episode, she was more present.
Yeah.
And she got, like, 3 scenes in this episode that were about her. And I understand.
And then she was really sweet to Tia before she went outside for her.
That was so weird.
Murder swim.
In like a good way. But she had that. We'll get to Blake in a second.
This bitch.
The only part about that checks is the teenager aspect of it. But I understand that we need to feel the stakes. And a way that you do that is to, endanger or even kill off a minor character that Christie, Stranger Things, yada yada. But
God, poor Chrissy.
A show like this, I think, is wanting for characters and likable characters, and it's wanting for a bit of a world. It needs, in my opinion, a little bit of world building.
Well, also, it would have made a little bit more sense to me if it had actually been Tia, because she was still super high.
Well, and we haven't gotten
as much background, like character detail out of Tia. But I mean, we might now that her best friend is gone, but...
And so we got several Phoebe scenes. She goes out into the pool. She gets attacked by the wolf. They did the thing where they left it open-ended, kind of like this with Connor, who I also was still rooting for. With each episode, the likelihood of him being alive, I feel like, goes down.
Yeah,
but I was like, something's
happening. And here's what I will say is, I am, especially after the reveal we get at the end of this episode, I am more convinced than ever that there are 2 wolves. And I think it's the grown-up wolf who has the pit of bodies, and I suspect it's this other wolf that has injured or taken Connor and that has Phoebe.
we did get a form of confirmation with Austin waking up in the solarium sunroom, and Phoebe's body being dragged across the
and her eyes were like pretty dead, but she could have been just unconscious or something. I don't know.
That seemed fairly dead.
Yeah.
There is in the preview for next week, there's a shot of her talking.
But it
however,
could go either way.
I think she's talking to Kristen Ramsey.
Okay.
I think she's in that pit, and I think Ramsey's touching. I think Ramsey's.
Okay.
I don't know. I still think that there's something happening with that.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to let it go if nothing comes of it. I'm not going to get mad.
Okay.
But I think something's happening there. So
with the touching, like how she was
reading people.
Okay.
Because what Phoebe was giving, and I mean, this is layers deep into this recap that we're speculating on scenes, but the way it was very poetic warning.
Sure.
That 3-second shot.
Sure.
But back to the recap. So all the kids are arguing whether or not they saw what they saw and how big of a threat that it is. Yeah. Cyrus Nix.
I mean, honest to God, I would not go back outside for a swim if it was a rabid possum.
And that's fair.
I don't like nocturnal rodents. I'm not going to be going outside where they are.
Also, again, bears, but rabies. Rabies is scary. So Cyrus and Everett go looking for it?
Garrett.
Yeah. Harlan.
Yes. Shit. Man, you fucked me up.
Cyrus and Harlan go out exploring and kissing.
Because it was actually so sweet. Because when he was like, are you going to protect me from the rabid bear? And Harlan was like, well, if you die out there, we can't go on our date. And it was darling.
I do like that they're hitting their relationship with with sweet elements. Yeah. Because also the snuggling in the snuggling.
They were snuggling.
Is that what we said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I said cuddling too, but both.
Cuddling feels less groan-inducing than does it? I don't know.
They're the same.
Regardless, so the cops show up because they're looking for Cyrus because Ramsey thinks he's the one that did it.
Yeah.
Is there new information?
No, his dad died in the last fire.
No, she said something that they found something.
I think it was just the drone information again. And I'm like, there's at least 30 kids in that robotics class. He can't be the only one that's suspicious.
So basically, we have all of the cops. Officer Jang is still around. He's another one like Phoebe, like Tia, like any of these other kids, where it's I want him. I don't like him now, but I could see character potential, so I want them to keep him.
Yeah.
I feel like they're not going to. I feel like they're going to kill him. But we'll see.
Yeah.
They all kind of disperse into the woods. Ramsey encounters the werewolf. Mm-hmm. She is talking to it very rationally, very reasonably.
I know that you can't fully understand me, but you get the idea of what I'm saying kind of stuff. Interesting.
And she fired the warning shot. She wants to help it. Did she use the word help?
Yeah, and then he said, it said...
Something said help me. That I assume is it.
Yeah.
And then it was scared away by someone else shooting. Is that when...
Well, all the rest of the officers came up and it ran away, but then Garrett was in another part of the woods behind Tia's house, and he shot it.
Mm-hmm.
And he saw something.
Well, he dinged it. Fast forwarding to the end, it was Baron?
Yeah, the blonde kid.
Who is the blonde kid who... I need to go back and watch episode 5.
Yeah.
Because I think he was just there.
He was just there.
Randomly. Yeah. There was just another kid there.
All of us, because we both last week were, and I said in our episode, I was like, well, apparently his name is Baron.
And we were like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And so...
But Everett's the only one who clocked him.
And spoke to him. He couldn't remember his name. I'm a little bit, I'm a mythology buff, and my two favorites are mermaids and werewolves, so I know a little bit about, and I love when things create their own mythology, but I also do love when there's a general sense of following the, millennia of centuries of lore, decades, yada yada. So I like that they tapped in the whole, calling them by their Christian name thing.
Yeah.
I said in our episode, to my understanding, it's more traditionally a woman. I don't know why I care about the gender politics of werewolves, but I do.
I've never heard that it needs to be a woman.
I thought it was. I thought that it was a woman, preferably a mother, a maternal mother, or even a grandmother figure. And I think maybe that just ties into old Germanic folk
Could be. Yeah.
lore stuff. So the werewolf that seemingly the werewolf that's terrorizing the kickback was Baron. And I find the notion that he was coming in and out of the party hilarious. I mean, that's what I would do in my more lucid moments. I'd be like, go for a swim and forget and just turn into a werewolf underwater.
Yeah, it does sort of beg the question how easy this transition is to just like do.
I mean, was he on the bus? Has he been in previous episodes?
I don't believe so.
He just randomly showed up at this party. I don't know. And you think
he's credited for 3 episodes so far.
They make a point to call him, multiple characters call him blonde. So you think that he's Kristen Ramsey's son who died in the fire?
I think so. I'm calling that now. That seems.
Do we think she knows that? Maybe suspects?
I don't know. I think she thinks she's talking to the like adult one.
Okay.
But I'm not sure.
I was just assuming,
because then if she knew it was him, she would have just called him by his name.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
She would have used the mother angle.
I think, yeah.
Call him by, yeah.
I'm
calling it now.
Yeah.
She's gonna say his name.
Unless she doesn't know that that's a thing, but if she knew it was her son, I think she'd still call him Baron.
Because didn't they also mention, or am I thinking of Teen Wolf? Another one of the more ancient myths is that you turn into a werewolf by drinking water out of the paw print.
Fuck all the way off. He was in the fire probably. Oh no, the last fire was 17 years ago, so that can't have been what he did.
Okay.
He died in a fire, but he can't have died in a fire 17 years ago if
apparently,
he's only 17.
Well, the being bitten turning you into a werewolf is like Hollywood. That's a recent addition to the werewolf mythology.
Interesting.
But
I don't know. The timeline is getting me a little fucked up because I'm not sure exactly what's going on.
I was just assuming that she was part of some like shadow agency.
Yeah.
That I have it in my mind that those need to exist, and they rarely do. Because it's also what I want. I wanted Natalie Martin to be part of like a ministry, but I think now maybe Kristen Ramsey's just going rogue, which I might like more.
It would be kind of hilarious, especially because like what if Officer Jang is literally just trying to do his job and she's totally off the rails?
Yeah, maybe he has every right to be.
He also brought up Trent Miller again.
Well, again, valid. Because we were like, get out of here, Officer Jang. And I was like, but he is spitting truth and nothing but the truth. Because he's coming down hard on Harlan. Yeah. And there were also multiple scenes with Ramsey and Garrett and Preja all talking around what they were talking around.
Yeah.
And that was sort of interesting.
Well, because you even brought it up, you were like, they all know, but they don't know they all know.
They can't, yeah.
So they can't actually talk about it.
We got this element that you're really intrigued by. I find it baffling. But I guess fire can turn wolves into werewolves?
That's what it seems like happened. Okay. Gideon Emery was in this episode. His name's Malcolm. He was a firefighter with Cyrus's father who died in the first fire.
Who was a dick.
But a good fireman. And so when he died in the first fire, they were all out there together with, I guess that's a term, the hotshot crew. I guess they go closest to the fire. That's what it seems like. But it wasn't the fire that killed them. There was like a gray wolf, and it was being very aggressive and protective and wouldn't let them go the only way out of the fire. So they tried to, apparently it was humongous. Just as a regular wolf, it was humongous.
That is another thing, is we think wolves are dog sized.
But the way he was talking about it was like that it was more humongous than even like a regular humongous wolf. So that was interesting. And then they shot it 40 to 60 times and it didn't die until Cyrus's dad got it in the head. But they went over to it and it was still breathing, which is absolutely hellish. And then They dragged it as close to the fire line as they could get, watched it get consumed by flames, and then changed into a werewolf that then killed all of them except for Malcolm. And that was the mother.
Yeah, I was like, it was
the mother wolf. So
they made a comment about the cub, so I guess we're meant to believe that Harlan and Luna are...
Yeah, but then also at the very end, Luna is like convinced that Baron is their brother. And I don't think so. Because then is Kristen Ramsey there? Or does she adopt a wolf cub as well?
Well, we don't know that. That's just this.
I think it has to be.
You're like, change approved.
I'm convinced. Or is it basically, did he get burned as like leaving aside the Kristen Ramsey part of it, when the mother wolf died, did he get burned as a cub? And so he's been like this the whole time, but Garrett found the two of them before they got burned. And so they are just regular wolves.
I don't know.
That could be something. I don't know.
I just got overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's like so, but that's the reason why like the timeline of it all is really fucking me up. Because I can't decide what's what.
Everett had a very good, a very interesting, a very loaded scene with his father, who is sick or just old man and takes old man medicine.
But also, were those his pills or were those Everett's pills? Because then he put one down on the counter and Everett took it. But then he spit it out, and because he's not been taking his pills because he Spider-Man'd up. So whose pills were those? Also, that was blue like Viagra. What are we doing?
You were really tripped out when he handed him the blue pill.
Oh. What is that pill?
So Viagra is not round like that.
No, I know.
But,
it's like or like a diamond. But I don't know, isn't like Lexapro or something blue? I'm sure something like an anxiety pill is blue, but I don't know. I just was like, whose pills are we? Like,
but it was a long scene.
Yeah.
So it was like, we were meant, they don't show you on things on accident.
Because he also was holding up the blue pill and he was like, you know what happens if I don't take these? And then I was
like, are you a werewolf?
But what happens to you, Everett's dad?
Well, because he's like, you remember what happened last time? And we were like, no, what did happen?
I don't remember. I don't know.
So, I still like David.
But... Yeah, no, me too. And certainly better than the mom still. I'm just confused. I don't know I don't know whose pills those were.
I do want to clarify. So I haven't been against this like Everett and Bella thing, but
Blake.
I was... Huh?
Blake.
Did I say Bella?
Yeah.
Bella Shepherd. Sorry, I looked at it. I haven't been against it, but I was thinking of it as like a primal sex thing because the first two were fantasies. So I was thinking it from that lens, but in this episode they were treating it like romance, like love for the ages.
Yeah.
And I think I hate that.
Okay.
It just doesn't.
Well, I'm much more intrigued by what the fuck? Harlan and Cyrus as like a love for the ages because they're being very cute about it. And I think they have better chemistry. I don't know about Everett and Blake either because I was
like watching a brother and sister.
Okay, because I didn't like it at first, and then I came around a little on it in the previous episode, in the actual kickback episode. And now I think I'm with you. I'm back to not really liking it. I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean,
I know that this series kind of already is wall-to-wall gay, but she just gives me...
Lesbian?
Yeah.
Also, if I hear one more goddamn time about how she doesn't have a phone, I'm going to absolutely lose my mind.
We think we know what her issue is with phones, and it's that she doesn't comprehend how they work. Because...
her mom used a phone to have an affair, and so it's the phone's fault.
Phoebe confronts her and is like, what's your damage? Like, we used to be best friends, and then you, like, iced me out. Why? And she was like, my mom used a phone to cheat on my dad.
It's so dumb! It's so dumb!
Because the whole time I'm like, literally, when this is happening, I was like, oh my God, Blake's mom was having an affair with Phoebe's dad.
Oh, that would have been better.
and like knows.
Yeah.
And so she put
Yeah.
that distance. But then it was like, no, my dad thought my mom was having an affair.
So he made
used me as collateral, made me violate.
Which
that.
Her dad fucking blows.
And then and then yelled, then berated her mom into submission, I guess, and the neighbors had to get involved.
Yeah, okay, the neighbors had to get involved.
She went to foster care for a week. And
the little brother, Danny, got put in, like, juvenile hall, or not hall, but, like, just, like, taken by CPS. And I'm like, that feels like an exaggeration.
Well, no, I mean...
And her going in foster care? So then why does the dad have custody? I don't know. It was all...
Take it up with the phone, Kristen.
I didn't like anything about that, to the point where I was like, I must have missed something, because there's no way that they would separate siblings and put a special needs kid away from everything he's familiar with.
You did study this in school. Phoebe was like, oh, that's perfectly understandable.
Not even remotely. So now she's sworn off all technology, emails, texting, phones, social media, because her mom used a phone to cheat. I don't know if my husband was screaming at me to the point that CPS
she also
was
swear
getting
off
called.
Cars? I mean, maybe she drove to meet him.
I can't. How is she even handling staying in this motel room?
Right?
They were obviously fucking in a motel. I don't know.
Well, and then because you laughed because Everett was like, I wanted to call you, but, you know, I can't. And you were like, the motel has a phone?
Well, I guess we did get a line from her dad 1 or 2 episodes ago that he had taken it off, like, the hook or whatever, but still.
It is a very good balance. It's not perfect yet, but it is a good balance of genuine, compelling drama and then just
absurdity.
Insane, like, plot points.
Just total, like, vaudevillian absurdity. Garrett found Cyrus in the barn. Asked him very specifically if he set the fire or not.
And Harlan
listened to his heartbeat when he asked him too. He said no, and then we cut away from that, and then all the kids get home and they see that the barn door is open, so they go out there. Garrett is there alone, and Harlan is like, "Where is he?" Garrett called Kristen Ramsey so that she could arrest Cyrus, and Garrett rightfully lost his ever-loving mind. Yeah, and he just, like, they all 4 went, like, full wolf and were, like, going out. He punched him in the face. He deserved it. Because he was like, he's probably safer with her. And I was like, the fucking nutball who brained a security guard last week and is trying to talk down this bear?
Talk down a werewolf. Trying to reason it into...
No! Absolutely not. And so basically that's when we
got the name.
The name thing, because Garrett just kept saying Harlan's name.
And Frieza showed up, so they know she knows, and she knows they know, and they know she knows they know.
And that's when Luna was like, he's our brother, and I don't vibe with that. I guess we'll see. I don't. She's blonde too. I guess maybe.
I think he is.
I want him to be Kristen's son.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Austin was weird, although that's a resting state of Austin.
Well, he also, they are gaslighting him, though, like you said. They are like, no, of course it was just a bear. And he's like, literally, fuck all of you. It's not a goddamn bear. He, like, can't get it enough. Also, Kristen and Garrett were having a couple, like, before Prisha came back in. That one scene, she was like, well, we could always take you down to the station and have you make another sketch to go on my wall.
She also cocked the gun with her elbow or something. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I thought it was kind of hot. She was doing it like this.
She did it behind her back. I don't know. It was very odd.
Kind of hot. Sort of like just weird, bonkers hot. Like, you know, when like a kind of greasy guy opens a beer with his teeth kind of thing. Kind of like that.
I think that's good for now. I mean, like I said, I am riveted. I want the next episode yesterday.
Me too.
So
we got 2 left. We'll be here for both of them.
It doesn't feel right. I feel like we need 10.
There should be 10.
Yeah. So, all right. I guess thumbs up.
Yeah.
And let us know what you think. And
if you want to watch us watch the show, head on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/soimwatching the show. Join the $3 tier, and you can watch us watch all the episodes, and also Drag Race, and a handful of other things. So, yeah. Bye!